So today we just have another quick follow-up on the 1952 Ford Gasser project. Just look at the engine compartment. As you can see, there's nothing there. Some guys had asked, what engine are we going with? Well, did a little research and we found that you can actually swap a small block Ford in here relatively easily. You know, we went through all the engines that we thought about were like the 390 FE and the 460 and the 429, but we realized those engines would basically stick out past the radiator core support. So we want to make this as easy as possible and as cheaply as possible, hopefully. We are looking for a 351 Windsor if possible. Still looking for that. We haven't been able to find one yet. We're here in the Midwest. There's obviously a lot around, but just haven't been able to find one that suits our needs right now. Looking for a transmission. I don't know, maybe a C6 or C4. Maybe you guys know. Let a fella know if you have some information on that. I know we can buy some a kit to mount those engines in here. But yeah, so that's what's going on here. What do you think? Should we cut the inner fender wells out? Should I cut them out a little bit up to the seam right here, or should I go ahead and cut the whole thing out? If you have an idea on that, let us know. But yeah, so it's kind of slow right now, still doing body work. I almost have this fender done, so that's one thing. There is some rot around the headlight bezel area and the turn signal area. We got that taken care of. Same thing over here, still working on the front splash pan. It was cracked and rusted pretty bad, so we're taking care of that. Had a pretty good dent over here, taking care of that. Again, there was rust around the turn signal area there. That's pretty smooth now, got that taken care of. The doors are rotted on the bottom. Again, we took care of that already. So on the rear quarters, they had some repair. Somebody did some amateur repair job, which you can see there. They patched it up, but basically warped the metal pretty good, and they're no longer in playing with the rest of the fender. They had about a 1/4 inch of Bondo on them. So as you can see, there's a little area there where we're trying to figure out what to do with this rear fender well. You know, everybody always radiuses them and everything, which is nice. Of course, we're going to want to find the rear end that we're going to use and the tire diameter that we're going to use before we radius that. But we were also thinking about maybe just keeping the same general design of the rear quarter here, but just moving it up, you know, just to maybe kind of go with the front quarters, the front fenders openings. But yeah, I don't know if that'll work or not, but what do you think? Radius it or do something different? Hopefully we have some whites on the back here. And then just, as I've stated before in other videos, somebody had removed all the paint and everything and had started doing a lot of body work to this car, and they must have left it out in the weather for a while. So as you can see, there's some grind marks there, and there's some pitting. If I can get this to work properly, there's some pitting in the roof. It was mostly on the passenger side, so they must have had a carport or something that it was sitting out. But we're still sanding down the roof here, getting all the old paint and the old primer. You can see the old red oxide primer, and then the original black paint. We have all the windows now. It actually sat outside before I purchased it. I don't know how long it sat outside without the front or rear window in it. So, but the floorboards have been replaced, so that's not a problem. This side is pretty much the same. Pretty bad patchwork on there, but it worked for them. We basically got the trunk lined out. There's an older video where we had to do some work on the trunk. Rear splash pan's pretty close. We don't know if we're gonna go ahead and weld up the area around the gas tank or not. We're still gonna drop the gas tank and see if that's any good. See if maybe we can keep using that. I'm gonna cover up the old lead areas. Little dent there. Yeah, so still working on that. The hood, this is a pretty good example here. So you can see how the hood has some deep pits inside of it. So we're gonna have to sand that down as best we can, and then just put a lot of filler over it and sand it back down. Not a lot of parts here in the Midwest where you can just go to an old junkyard and find these much anymore. The one I did find in the older videos, everything was really bad condition. So, but yeah, that's that. So let's talk a little bit about these 1952 through 54 Fords. The reason we bought this is because we were looking for we're going to build a vintage gasser, and we were looking for probably the least expensive 50s car that we could find that wasn't all rusted out and within our budget. And this one was just a half a mile away. It was in our budget. It was a parts car, and so that's why we purchased it. And we knew that we were going to have to do a lot of work to it and buy a lot of parts. But the Fords were cheaper than, like, say, the 55 through 57 Chevys, and I think I know why. But anyway, so this car was built in July, on July 24th in Kansas City. It was originally black. It originally came with a flathead 239, and it was showing as an overdrive transmission, although it does not have an overdrive in it right now. I basically went online and decoded the VIN, and I can't remember what the interior color was, but yeah, so that was going on with this. It is very difficult here in the Midwest to find parts for these cars. I don't know if you guys have any junkyards around you, but here in the Midwest, like I said, I found one that had some in it, but everything was just in worse condition than what this one was. So I got some headlights, as we talked about in the other video. Got the headlight buckets. They were off of 54, and they bolted in, so hopefully that's okay. The guy was supposed to have the bezels, but he did not have them. So luckily I went on eBay, and I had searched before and did not find the headlight bezels, but just so happened to be two on there from two separate people. I went ahead and ordered those, and so hopefully those will be coming next week. So once we get that, and then I have a fellow looking for some turn signal housings which are missing. He got COVID. He's been looking for them for a couple weeks. He has a small junkyard or something, and he sent me pictures, and it looked about the same as what the taillights were in, pitted and older, but not totally rusted away and rotted. So we need everything. We need the lens, the housing, the trim ring, and so he's hopefully going to take those off and give me a price and go from there, and we'll be able to have those. And then we also have a front grille centerpiece that is currently hopefully getting sandblasted. So hopefully we'll have a complete car here pretty soon. If you guys have any suggestions, let us know. Don't forget to subscribe and like the video if you want to see more videos. It's going a little slow right now, still doing the body work, still looking for the engine, and it's very difficult to find parts for these. It's not like you can just go online and buy every part that you need, like I think you can get for like a 55 through 57 Chevy and a lot of other cars. But if you have one of these, you probably know that. But if you have any parts, let us know. Maybe we'll buy them from you. We'll see you soon. One last thing, we did take off the front sway bar since we're not going to use that as a dragster. So if you guys need one of these, it's in good condition. It has the mounts and the bushings on it still. Just put it in the comments. It's also on Facebook Marketplace, so if you want to search the 52 sway bar. I don't know. I'm assuming it'll work on a 53 and 54, but I don't know for sure.